Hi, I'm Nikki, and this is how I made my poetry zine, Delicate. A zine is a wonderful tradition of self-publication of your own work, and as an art form, it can be utilized in many different ways as a vessel for showing your art. Here are just a few examples of a couple zines that I've collected over the years. In 2020, I decided to make my own zine, After the Storm, which is a collection of short comics centering around the theme of loneliness. I have a flip through of it on my channel if you want to check that out. Now that it's been a couple years, I have been wanting to make a new zine. This time I wanted to share some poems and writings that I've collected throughout 2021. So already having this collection of writings, I took the name of one of my poems, which is Delicate, and decided to name the zine that and build the vibe of the whole zine after that. I had 4 poems that I selected for this zine, and I picked ones that sort of gave me the same feeling, either influenced by nature or having the feeling of solitude. I wanted to create an illustration for each poem that also fit within that theme. I went back and forth with a few ideas in my sketchbook, but after finalizing it, I ended up with these 4 drawings, which I think fit each poem perfectly. After doing all the illustrations, I scanned the artwork and imported it onto my tablet so I could clean it up a bit and get all the pieces into the same dimensions so that it would be easier to format later on. On to formatting the zine, which is what I find to be the hardest part. I started with making a very simple model of the zine for myself to see how and where I wanted the words and drawings to go. Next, I made another model, this time to scale, of what the zine would look like. As you can see with this one, I did not bind it together. This was so I could easily take it apart and see what went on what side of the sheet. This is because when you print on both sides, but it has to work out so that when you fold it and put the pages together, it will all be in order. I was also making this more difficult for myself and printing on a 9x12 size piece of paper. It was very confusing in my own head, even with the many models I made for myself, so I hope that seeing what I'm doing makes more sense. I printed on a few test sheets of paper on printer paper before printing on my paper of choice, which is this 9x12 Strathmore charcoal paper. I had to cut it down a bit on the 9-inch side to 8.5 inches because my printer only goes up to that size. I've had these pads of charcoal paper for years and have never used it, so I thought this would be the perfect use since it has the exact vibe I was going for. So I cut those all down to size, and it was finally time to put the whole zine together. I decided on doing saddle stitch binding as opposed to stapling because I thought the saddle stitch would look more aesthetic with this zine. So here are the materials I used, along with a needle to thread. This is my first time binding anything this way, so don't use me as a tutorial, but there are many quick guides on YouTube that demonstrate how to do saddle stitch binding, and those are what I watched. And it was a lot of fun, much more fun than stapling. After mis-stapling so many zines, I'm over the staples. And even though this is a little more time consuming, I know that I won't ruin a zine by stapling in the wrong place and leaving those staple marks there. And I also think the end result was really great. And here's the final look of my poetry zine. This zine and my other zine will be available on my online shop starting July 1st, which is when I reopen it. The link for that is in the description if you'd like to get one for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this process video, and I hope it inspired you to make your own zine. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.